What's up, Facebook? I'm gonna try to start doing this maybe once a week, raw and real check-in, where I just get on here on the live and come to y'all true to form how I might be on a daily basis on any given day. Of course, I'm not always wearing a hat or a microphone or doing this on camera, obviously, but just want to mimic real life a little bit, maybe once a week, like I said. And the inspiration for that idea, I did one last week, is just to get on here, be live and unfiltered, unedited, and to talk about things that I think are important in life, spirituality being one of them. But maybe I'll discuss other concepts and topics too. I'm finding that a lot of my inspiration for this idea also comes from books. And for a while now, I've been reading this book. It's called Embers by Richard Wagamese. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. He's no longer with us, but I think he has a pretty well-known native movie out there. I forget what it's called. Look into it. He's got a movie that's based on one of his books. Anyway, my wife met somebody at a conference who mentioned this book, and then she ended up getting this book from me. Maybe it was a conference, I don't know. She was out somewhere and somebody mentioned this book to her, and she got me this book. And it's been a really good book. Like I would even say life-changing in a way. There are some very insightful spiritual teachings in here that this author shared. And so I think for today's idea, I'm just going to read from this book. I guess maybe sort of a book club vibe, and I don't really know what that is. I've never been a part of any kind of book club or anything. But I'm just going to read from this book and talk about what I read. I haven't read none of this today, so we'll see what happens. But again, just wanna get on here, real and raw, once a week maybe, and discuss these concepts, these topics that I can't really talk about in other formats. You know, when you're posting short form reels, the focus is on getting people's attention within 10 to 30 seconds, sometimes a little longer or shorter. It's all about engagement and everything, right? Not that that's the primary driver of what I do, but if you want to be seen on these platforms, you have to create content within the parameters of the algorithms, right? So this particular thing that I'm doing is just kind of like I get to just do me, I know that I'm not going to get a lot of engagement from these lives and these longer form videos that I'm going to be making. But I want to do them anyway because they're fulfilling just as all the other stuff I do is. So yeah, again, the book is called Embers by Richard Wagamese in One Ojibwe's Meditations. Alright, here's the first one. Me, tell me about love. Old woman, it is our only real choice, the only thing that we can truly give. Me, how do we do that? Old woman, choose it above all else. Love is you leading me back to the highest possible version of myself. I'm going to read that again. Love is you leading me back to the highest possible version of myself. It's me leading you back to who you were created to be. It is the most important choice we can make for each other. Love, that's powerful. Alright, me, those closest to us, you mean? Old woman, no, everyone, everything. Widening our circle at every opportunity. Me, sounds hard. Old woman, so is being born, but we all do it. That's real. I think love is powerful, it's one of the 7 grandfather teachings of the Ojibwe for a reason. I think love is kind of the teaching that encompasses all the rest of them, If we operate from that place, everything else will take care of itself. It's a good one. All right, here's another. Me. How do I find creator? Old woman. You become what you seek. Me, I don't understand. Old woman, you decide what creator is. If you decide she is peace, love, humility, and non-judgment, you decide to work toward embodying those qualities in your walkabout world. The closer you get to that, the closer you are to finding creator. That's what our ceremonies are for. To teach you that creator is in you, that she always was and always will be. And see, this right here is one of the reasons that I connect so strongly with this book, because it teaches similar teachings that other books I read teach. And it also teaches similar teachings to what I've learned from my elders and what I've learned from prayer and being at ceremonies and things of that nature. You become what you seek, you know. How do I find creator? You become what you seek. That's real. So that reminds me of, in my case, when I was early on in sobriety, I would go to these sobriety meetings looking for help, you know. So I was seeking help. But then what I learned at these meetings is it's not all about that, though. Because one of the best ways we can help ourselves and find the help that we seek is to help others. And that's what I learned. They said, you know, we go out to these different treatment centers. We share our experience, strength, and hope. We share our stories of how we got sober, what helped us, you know, mistakes we might have made, you know, relapses, so on. We share our experience, strength, and hope at these treatment centers. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do that, because I keep hearing these older guys talk about how doing that has helped them probably more than seeking help for themselves. So that they're helping themselves the most by helping others. So I'm like, let me try this out. So I go to these treatment centers and I share my story. And guys start reaching out like, hey man, I appreciated your story. I'd like to connect, you know. Will you give me some time, and you know, can we connect over sobriety and this kind of stuff y'all were talking about? And I'm like, yeah man, let's do it. And you know, give my number to guys in treatment centers, and then sometimes we would build outside of that, you know. To be honest, oftentimes not, just because, you know, people are struggling to get out of addiction and alcoholism. They don't always follow through. You know, I was the same way. Still can be today, even though I'm sober. But, you know, how do I find creator? You become what you seek. You become what you seek. That's real. As a little boy, I was looking for role models. So when I got older, I was like, man, maybe I need to be a role model. That's another example of that. I was looking for sobriety, so I started helping other people find their sobriety. And that made my sobriety strong and quality, you know. So much of life I have found, especially over the past decade or so, is about giving to others the things that you want. And when I do that, my life is the best. But of course, I don't do that enough. I don't do it all the time. I'm not perfect, but it's powerful. So you decide what creator is. And if you decide she is peace, love, humility, and not judgment, you decide to work toward embodying those qualities in your walkabout world. So, yeah, I think creator is summed up in that last one we read, love. You know, creator is love. And so if I'm doing my best to be a co-creator of this universe as one of creator's children, I'm acting from a place of love, right? So I think that's what that's about. That's what our ceremonies are for, to teach you that creator is in you, that she always was and always will be. And that's another thing I learned over time, is that in my concept anyway, and you know, how I've been taught, creator is not some eye in the sky. Creator is not just out there detached from us. Creator is in us, you know. We are made from the same products the whole universe is made of, you know. Like, we have star matter inside of our bodies. We are star people. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are creator, you know. Not on no Kanye or anything like that. Not on that egotistical thing. But we are creator, you know. Like really, we are created by Creator, therefore Creator is in us. And we all have that power to co-create the world and the universe in a good way. Something that most do not understand about my people: when we stand up in acts of resistance to things that threaten our spiritual, physical, emotional, and intellectual well-being, it's not because we hate what's in front of us. It's because we love what's behind us. We love our homes, our families, our communities, our nations, our ceremonies, our teachings, our cultural ways, our histories, and the land that those things spring from. In that, we are like anyone, anywhere throughout the course of human history who has ever stood up to injustice. That's a good one. I focus on that too. That's something that I've said before is, anytime I activate, I try to do it from a place of love for my people and for what I'm standing up for. It's not about hate, because I'm a strong believer that we can't create a better world by hating something or somebody else so much that that's our motive, The motive always had the foundation, and the motive has to be love. It has to be about what we're protecting, what we're standing up for, what we're defending. It can't be about internalized hatred, because internalized hatred and resentment is poison, We keep that in our thoughts. It's like drinking poison and hoping it hurts the person that we are upset with, or the institution, or the people, whatever it is. Internalized resentment only hurts us. It don't hurt the other person. It's like holding a knife over my head and dropping it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if I want to focus on, if I want to focus on doing things in a good way, I'm focused on love, And then I can take that knife from hanging over my head and drop it, and focus on doing things from a place of love. And it's like, yeah, I'm standing up to the opposition, but I'm doing it out of love. I'm not doing it out of hate. That's important. I think I'll do one more, maybe one or two more, maybe both of these 2 pages. Nothing ever comes to rest. Everything keeps moving. Even stationary objects are moving, though we do not see it. Change is constant, and that means we are not the same from one moment to another either. Ourselves are constantly in the process of changing. So if I am moving through a tough situation, there is no point trying to find rest so that I can cope. That is impossible. Instead, I can choose to change trajectory to move in a direction that will lead me toward peace. That is always attainable. It reminds me of how people talk about work-life balance, and it's not necessarily the same thing as what I just read here. But in my thinking, I don't think work-life balance is a real thing. I think there's always something that is being sacrificed in order to put my focus on one thing or another. So even when I'm focused on prayer and meditation, and I do that for an hour or 2 in the morning, whether that's smudging, meditating, reading these books that are spiritual, or anything along those lines, I'm giving my time to that and not other things, right? So there's always something that's out of balance. There's always something that's being sacrificed in my thinking. So that's what this passage reminds me of. Said nothing ever comes to rest. We just adapt, essentially, and change course so that we can move in a better way. The truth is that I have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and moral limitations. But physically, I want to be healthy enough to do good work. Mentally, I want to be clear so that I can let go of thoughts that do not serve me. Emotionally, I want to be aware of my feelings so that I can surrender those that do not empower me. Spiritually, I want to walk in awe, wonder, respect, and humility through this universe. Morally, I want to be a male human being I can be proud of. I don't need to know what perfect looks like, only better. I can move gracefully toward better every day. I love that, that's real. Perfect can never be attained, we can never attain perfection, but we can strive for it every day, and that's the most we can do. But no matter how old we get or how long we live, we're always going to have room for growth and room for learning every day, and we're always going to make mistakes, we're always going to piss somebody off, we're always going to do something wrong. All we can do is our best to try to learn and grow and to do right by people, The truth is that I have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and moral limitations. That's all of us, It's another reason why I like this book so much. And I read it right now anyway. And for the past several months, I've been reading this book as part of my daily spiritual routine because it keeps me thinking about these things. And really, anytime you read a book, you really have to read it at least 3 times to really grasp what's in it. So I highly encourage y'all to check this book out. I ain't getting paid to say that or nothing like that. This is just a powerful book. Like I said, the author is no longer with us, but I feel like I've gotten to know him a little bit just through these writings, and I'll probably get some more of his books and check them out too, as well as that movie I mentioned earlier. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up today for the little book reading. Like I said, I just want to check in maybe once a week, just on some raw and real vibes, unedited, unfiltered, no content creation, just sitting down and chopping it up. Maybe I'll try to find some way where we can be more interactive. Like right now, I'm working with minimal equipment. I just got my phone, a phone light, and a microphone and mic adapter, very minimal stuff, chilling at my crib in my chair, This is like where I lounge or whatever, sitting here in my gym clothes, my lounge clothes, prayed and all of that earlier. Kind of a late morning today. Stayed up late working on things till like 2 a.m. So didn't get at it as early as I would have liked to today. But yeah, man, that's the raw and real check-in for this week. And maybe I'll do it more, maybe I'll do it less, who knows. I just want to do this as a change of pace and a way to bring y'all into my natural environment a little bit. All right, peace.